I have a very special game to bring to you today, not just because of the players, not just because of the map, but also the situation that both these players are in. This is not a simple community tournament match. This is a match in a gym gauntlet. The gym gauntlet, I should say. This gym gauntlet is like a community tournament, but it has some pros to it as well. It is hosted by I Love Baskets, and the best way to explain it is that it's similar to Pokemon. If you remember the original Pokemon games, you would have gym leaders that have some sort of particularity, some sort of theme to their gym. And in this case, EmuWarrior takes all of his particularities as a player and puts them into a gym with 3 home maps, 3 civilizations that he picks for himself, and 3 civilizations that he bans for his challenger. His challenger here today is AR12. And we'll get to him in a moment. The particularities of EmuWarrior that I hinted at are 1, that he likes purple, 2, that he likes Teutons, so much that he would prefer to just play Teutons all the time, but due to the rules of the tournament, he can only play that civilization once, so he's saving it for hideout later. What other particularities? He doesn't play with game sound. He listens to classical music instead. He does very few hotkeys. One item of this map you'll see is that there are ponds here. He's not a player who bothers with water whatsoever. I think the reason he's picked this map is more because of his name, EmuWarrior. He is a fan of, I guess, anything Australian. I didn't really ask him for all the details here, but this map is called Menindee. It is a map named after a city in New South Wales in Australia. It's a very desert-like map, and it has these little ponds here that are representative of the somewhat dry riverbed that the town is built next to. The town's actually built on these little, like, small sand dunes that are in the dry riverbed, which is kind of what's being represented here. This map was created for World Desert Championships 2, which was played, it was like a team game and 1v1 tournament all at once. It was played earlier this year. And the map creator is Captain Kniples. Kniples with a K, of course. And I think this is a really interesting map because of the potential for fish booming. You obviously have to split your attention between all the micro that you normally have in Age of Empires 2 game, and also trying to make your fish traps as neatly as possible, something that we see Viper and a lot of the Black Forest players do fairly regularly. But players like Emu can't really get that right. All the same, one other thing I forgot to mention, he has a mod named after him. It is the EmuWarrior Treb mod, and if this game gets to Imperial Age, we might be able to see just what that mod looks like. So EmuWarrior has picked Georgians here because he feels that the Georgian Monospa is just the strongest unit for this kind of open map that you have here. Which, you know, I might not argue with. We're going to see him, work on that Monospa. He decided not to finish that house for whatever reason. Maybe a shift-click issue. As I mentioned, he doesn't have hotkeys for a lot of unit commands. Not the fastest player by any means. His opponent here, AR12, a German player, who's involved a lot in the American community. These two have been back and forth on multiple gym gauntlet challenges, mostly just in Emu's gym. That's the fun part of this gym gauntlet challenge, is you don't necessarily have to host a gym yourself. The person who hosts it gets to play the maps they want, the civilizations they want, but they also have to take the time to schedule with their opponents, their challengers. Whereas the challengers, you know, they get to see the whole gauntlet. Each ELO bracket, every 100 ELO or so, you have a different gym leader and their different maps, and your challenger can just decide, you know what, I feel like playing Nomad, so I'm going to challenge Ocean, or I feel like playing these closed maps / open maps. This is Emu just like picking whatever maps fit his style. So Hideout because he likes Hideout, and I'm guessing Menindee because he's the EmuWarrior, of course, so he has to be repping Australia. EmuWarrior is going for more of a fast castle approach. He pushed some ostriches in the middle, pushing some ostriches in the back, brought some deer in, and he hasn't taken the water yet. He does have some perch accessible to him. Meanwhile, AR12 already finished one perch section and is leaving this one on just 1 food. So he's made use of the extra food that's in the middle, and now he's going back home, going up to Feudal Age, dropping a barracks. One thing on this map is there's very little stone as well. And we have just 700 stone inside each of the players' map bases. I believe in the back of the map is usually where the stone spawns. I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing it here. This might be a bugged map that doesn't have stone spawns for both players, unfortunately. Emu getting loom before he collects feudal age, I imagine. Yep, there's feudal age. And with the sheep, the berries, the villagers on gold, he should be able to afford castle age. Yeah, it's going to be close, though. He's going 23 plus 2, it looks like. He doesn't really have that many great sources of food coming in addition. Also, just while the players are getting up to feudal age, I think Georgians have the best voice lines. The throat, it's not throat sounds to be, like, it's more of a mouth sound.
Get you arse.
I just love it so much. I did the Georgians maybe a month ago on my Mules of Empires series. And I just enjoyed so much just going through all of the different Georgian words as I was translating recipes and such, and just getting to listen to that. It got to the point where I actually forgot to finish writing the recipe because I was just so engrossed with all the different Georgian translations for different words. But let's get back to the game. Sorry for the tangent. AR12 up to feudal age, dropping a spear just to scout around. Emu, meanwhile, also getting up to feudal, looking for a place to drop his buildings, market, and blacksmith. And he does have enough food, it looks like. Spear getting right in the way of where he wants to drop the market. Emu's not going to let that stop him. Repositioning the market, blacksmith, and palisade wall. And I imagine he was clicking each of those buttons by hand down in the left-hand corner where there normally are. No hotkeys for this man. And all the villagers are being sent to the stone and the mule cart. Yeah. Scout trying to snipe the archer, so despite being a slow player, he can still try to snipe the first archer coming forward. Successfully does get it with the hill bonus, and now takes his scout back and tries to save it. Yeah. Villagers for AR12 going forward. Not clear exactly what their plan is. AR12 scout sees the wood line there that's being utilized. Is this going to be a tower? Is this going to be a forward range? Oh no, he already built a range in behind. It would be odd for him to build another one. And now AR12 is making use of the map and going for a dock in his little enclave, his little area where he can fish boom away like a Black Forest player loves to do. Meanwhile, collecting some berries, and the sheep that he was able to save by going out here earlier in feudal age for some food. So he shouldn't be too far behind, I imagine. And once he gets up to castle age, his economy will be a little bit better. It's just whether he can hold or not. Obviously, being very frustrating to Emu here, as Emu's just trying to collect some berries. Emu's pulling back the weak villagers back to his Tron center, collecting as much as he can out of that. There's still 120 food that he just can't really hold on to. And there is that tower. I don't know if that's very effective against Georgians. With their mule cart, they can just move it around. And this, of course, is the mule cart mod that just makes it a little bit smaller. It's supposed to make it a better representation of the hitbox. And, ooh, Emu just walks right by the tower. Doesn't have the line of sight. What is he? Oh, he's thinking of where to place his castle, it looks like. But he doesn't know that tower's there. He would love to just place the castle right on the tower. Mule cart just being repositioned towards the gold. Yeah. Tower is up. Emu sees it. And Emu, okay, he's repositioning his castle. I was going to say, this protection of this gold area isn't all that great. Emu might be in jeopardy of losing his scout, though. Does take off AR12 scout and doesn't pull his own scout away in time. Looks like this one villager is taking the tower fire. Another villager taking the tower fire. Emu's doing a good job in that regard, making sure he doesn't lose any villagers here. Eco KD has been flawless for him as he gets up to castle age, and I imagine, yeah, we have a Monospa coming out. It's just the issue for Emu is he has no food in response here. There's not really too much hunt in this dry riverbed. The horses don't have any food on them. It's really how well you can fish boom. Emu could have dropped the castle right next to this pond and fish boom that as well. I don't know why he would do that instead of just fish booming in his own pond to begin with. And AR12 up to castle age as well, dropped 2 fish and dropping additional farms as well. These Monospa, I think, with their beefy attack, can just take out the spears and archers. But coming over here to snipe the villagers, gets one. I mean, unless you can quick wall. Oh, the other one's quick walling. Monospa going to find the weak palisade, it looks like. An AR12's on it, bringing 3 spears over. And an additional Menaspa to take out this villager. I mean, this is buying AR12 some good time, actually, to focus on this one villager, allowing him to get up to Castle Age without an issue. But, yeah, 2 Menaspa versus 3 spears. Emu ready to pull away that weak Menaspa as well. Another spear coming over to the party late. And we have a quick wall again. Will this one go off without a hitch? Nope. Menaspa's just too quick to kill. And Ars running away. I'm guessing Emu's trying to now figure out the rest of his economy. His economy seems, you know, just at the brink. Hasn't lost a unit yet. 4 Menaspa going forward. Okay, we have a monastery in response from AR12. Some monks would be a decent counter, while the Menaspa are in low quantities. And a town center near his gold and stone in protection. Menaspa are on their union break and now going forward. Pikeman was being considered for AR12. He's just going to rely on the monks, it looks like, and invest that wood and food instead into Bosaw. Is Pikeman wood and food? I actually don't remember what Pikeman costs. But Menaspa are coming in now. Will the Menaspa just decide to go right in? It looks like so. AR12 deleting farms to build gates. Does that one go off? What? The villager was just blocking the gate. And the fish boom! Not the fish boom! But we do have a monk here. We have some, the pikemen, the spearmen. I think if the Menaspa focused the spearmen... Oh, but he's trapped. The trap did go off. It just waited for him to come in. And we have a converted Menaspa. And just like that, it feels like Emu has lost all of his momentum. He's on similar vill counts. If he starts booming behind now, he might be able to stay. But he really needs to see this fish boom and come to the realization that I need to do that fish boom too. So our only Menaspa on the field now belongs to our Gothic player. And Emu now is going to go out for the boom on this gold on the outside. There's plenty of gold smattered around the map. It's interesting, the different sizes of the piles. Not all the piles are equal. But I'm really wondering where that extra stone was. I'll have to send Captain Kniples a message asking him. And because of how realistic this map is to its real-world counterpart, there's plenty of these little dunes around, which make it difficult to find the ideal town center placement. Both players are getting horse color. And AR12 a little bit further along in his wood upgrades. Building additional town centers himself. Trying to stay in line with Emu. And both of these players have played the map again, or before, in this competition, the Gym Gauntlet Challenge. Where Emu, again, you know, he's stuck with the same 3 civilizations throughout the Gym Gauntlet Challenge. No, sorry, Gym Gauntlet Challenge. And he could switch out the civs that he wanted on each map, but he picked Georgians at the beginning of the Gym Gauntlet, the season, so he's kind of stuck with them now. Whereas AR12 gets to try out different civilizations each time he chooses to challenge EmuWarrior. And I believe the first time he played Saracens, and was successful, but deciding to switch things up all the same and going for Goths this time. Goths is interesting. It obviously has a good matchup against Georgians, since Georgians are mainly going to be trying to focus on cavalry, the cheaper Goth spearmen and the infantry spam they can get going once they get their eco rolling would be, you know, very difficult for our Georgian player to deal with. Georgians do have some counters. They have skirms, they have cavalry archers, and they have hand cannons. So it's not like this matchup is impossible for Georgians. Just something that AR12 is trying out. Another thing that I should point out, Goths often, in a modern setting at least, are picked for maps that have a lot of hunt on them, since they can collect more out of the hunt. Monk not doing too well here. Where's that Menaspa that AR12... I guess I can just click on it. Oh, it's scouting the back of the map. Okay. Finding those relics. It's really turning into relic race, and AR12 is ahead with 3-1 relics. I thought I saw a monk pulling back a relic. Yeah, okay. No, those monks don't have any relics in their hand. I must have been imagining things. Oh, it was the green relic, right, as the purple Menaspa is running by. So we have Menaspa just waiting over here, as well as a purple Menaspa waiting over here. I don't see any monks in sight yet. And 4th town center for AR12. So he has both the fish boom and he's soon to have the lead in terms of town centers to produce villagers from. Idle TC from both is actually quite high, but I think that's just partially because they're right on the limit of how much food they have to collect from. It does get cramped in here, and AR12 is not making it easier for himself by building a lot of houses inside of an area where he normally would farm. Oh, we have the monk race now. Monks are being pulled. Menaspa trying to fight each other. Menaspa does have to run away from the monk. Archer's going to go in against the monk. Spearman ding Menaspa. Menaspa goes down. The monk does get one archer converted, but obviously not very useful. Doesn't even have fletching. And the green monk will successfully win the monk race. No survivors for purple. Additional fortified churches here for EmuWarrior, making use of that bonus to the work rate of the villagers. He has a few fortified churches all over the place. But I really think it'd be more beneficial for him to just keep dropping farms so that he can actually afford villager production out of all these town centers. Prioritization there is a little bit off, it feels like. It's not like polls where you need to have the full work up before the farms are made to make use of the bonus. Fortified churches can come up at any time, so I generally recommend them afterwards. And AR12 did a good job of making that first lumber camp on the backside, so his enclave still provides him some protection. This opening actually probably useful for him in case there's a big Menaspa or cavalry raid that comes in. These villagers will be able to run back into this town center. Gives him good access between his different villages. And I expect to see Imp on the way fairly soon. Wouldn't be surprised if AR12 decides to... I was going to say where he's collecting stone, just at home right now. Wouldn't be surprised to see AR12 build a castle forward and try to go for a little bit earlier Imp click, because he already knows the target for him is this castle here, and Emu's economy. That's fairly unprotected. He hasn't seen any more Menaspa come out, right? But deciding to build a castle at home, and that's quite a nice castle. Right on top of the hill, protecting some farmland, protecting some a gold mine that has yet to be mined, and a university for him. Doesn't really need a second building to go up, since the castle go up first. EmuWarrior. Oh my gosh. Listen to those Georgian voice lines. Absolutely beautiful. Obviously not so beautiful when the Menaspa comes in and says, you know what, I've had enough of you. How many kills does this Menaspa have? 9 kills, soon to be 10. Once he comes in on this villager. Imp is on the way for AR12. EmuWarrior getting handcart first. And yeah, villager goes down. Menaspa going to work on that outpost. Emu's not too far away from Imp either. He can click soon as well. Also getting university. So it seems like both of them, from previous experience, think this is going to go to a Treb war, I imagine. And they're both going to get, shoot, what's the technology that has the bricks as the logo? It's not monastery, but it sounds like that. Oh, I can't remember. That was always a tech that slips in my mind. Hopefully we'll see it in a moment, and it'll remind me. We have pikemen on the way for AR12, so it looks like it is going to be pikes protecting these trebs. And he's going out with some outposts of his own. He sees quite a bit of the map, I must say. He should know what to expect as the game progresses. He's kind of limited himself in this corner, despite having the early opportunities in Castle Age. Do we not have a blacksmith yet for AR12? Wow. He got up with a range and a market. Okay. And I imagine he would love a castle on one of these hills right in front of Emu's base. A great position from which to trap Emu's town. And yeah, the fact that Emu hasn't used this lake whatsoever for the fish boom. He did tell me he doesn't consider himself the best Menindee player. He just enjoys the map. Menaspa here, killing their opponents on the graves of the monk and the previous Menaspa. Castle attacking the palisade walls to make sure that there's no more vision permitted to AR12 as Emu plans his units as he gets up to Imperial Age. We have 2 ranges. I'm guessing that's either... I mean, I guess it's just the same units that I mentioned earlier, either Skirm, Hand Cannon, or Cavalry Archer. Starting to mass Cavalry Archer at this point in the game seems a little bit late, difficult to do, given that... does he see... He should see the castle, yeah, he sees the castle being built right in front of his base. We have a Treb already coming out for AR12. His economy looks very well balanced for what he plans to do. Of trebs and spears, Halb on the way, and scale mail armor, even getting chemistry out of that university build. Forward siege workshops, I imagine that's for bombard cannons once chemistry comes in. Meanwhile, there we go. Masonry, that's the technology. Coming in for Emu. If his castle was on a hill, he'd be able to repair it cheaper. That's the Georgian bonus. Or I think, no, it's always easier to repair it. He just takes even less damage. Is that what it is? But yeah, he's going to have an issue if Trebs start poking out here. Trebs just sitting in defense here. Monospa do find this wood line here. I mean, obviously not the biggest issue if all those villagers go down. AR12's economy has expanded far beyond that. That is a nice wood line on the edge there. Instead of, you know, going long distance like this gets ugly. We have some Huskarls in the back taking care of the outposts. Yeah, both players should have very good vision on the sides of the map, but really, the talking point is right in the middle. We have so many helps for AR12, and he's just deciding to send them in, I think. He's like, you know what? I've seen no counter units, unless Emu's being very, very patient. Okay, he's going to leave some helps in reserve and send some helps forward. Emu supposed to repair his town center, and I forgot to mention, there's the Emu Treb mod. I'm going to pause real quick so we can see it. We see a little Emu beak, some fire on the eyes because chemistry in, and that little banana hat. That's Emu's user icon. Alright, back to it. 2 Trebs on the hill. That's what I was worried about for Emu. And another Treb attacking his town center. There's 2 Trebs in the back, downhill, to try to defend his castle. And we have hand cannons to deal with the Helm. Emu can start selling food, but the issue on the map is you just have very little stone. Emu, I don't know if he's... Yeah, he's seen the stone, but he might not have taken it into consideration. Trying to take out this Treb. Will AR12 repair in time? He will. I mean, that's where most of the focus is for AR12 at the moment. Gaunt's getting the equivalent of arson for free, so they can take out these buildings very quickly. Hand cannons trying to take out the bomber cannon, but I think the bomber cannon are taking out the hand cannons instead. Big bada boom on that guy, leaving a stain in the stand, and Halp's just forcing the hand cannons to constantly be micro back. It does not look like EmuWarrior is going to be able to hold up this castle. I mean, these Emu icons though are very funny. BBC constantly sniping the hand cannons from behind. We even have a Treb taking him out. Hand cannons are... I do have 16 kills in the name, but obviously that's just, you know, just the health that they were dealing with. Not necessarily a high-value target. Emu is out of stone. He could keep repairing if he wanted. He could continue selling his food. Switching into light cap as well, but he calls it G. And obviously he has 2 more games to play after this set, but I'm not going to cast them, or after this game in the set, but I'm not going to cast them. I just wanted to focus on Menindee, and I would love to see it in additional tournaments in the future. I think there's a lot of potential in this map. Both these players played it a little bit more closed, but I think with, as they're called hamsters, Arabia players that are a little bit faster might have the time to both boom in this water area and attack as well at the same time. I just would want to make sure that the stone piles are properly spawning, which I believe is very easy to do from my experience map scripting.